Welcome to Crafty Hints. I'm Chantel. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. Today I am taking part in Try It Tuesday, which is hosted by Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs and her co-host, the Redheaded Scrapper. Now, you have got to visit their channels. I'm going to link them below, as well as a playlist, because there is going to be a lot of neat DIYs. DIY number 1 was inspired by Jaz over at DIY Home and Crafts. Now, I didn't do it identical to what she did, but it inspired my idea. I took a popcorn tin, some nautical rope, and I got it in both the light colored and the dark colored. And you want to look at the length. I think I had like the 11 foot. And I was going to stop and grab some muslin fabric, but I didn't get a chance to. So I took 2 fabric napkins and I layered those in there, and then I measured 2 inches down and glued this all around the rim. It was pretty easy to do, just making sure that you get it even going all the way around. Then I just started gluing the light nautical rope right on that edge, just going all the way around until you meet the end. And then I'm just going to continue on and do a few more rows. Now, the one thing that I did find that was tricky is when you clip this rope. It unravels like crazy, and I had forgotten that. I used a darker quite a bit, but not as much on this. So you want to make sure to grab it tight when you do it and also get some glue on there. Later, you will see that I did get some of the other nautical rope, and it has Scotch tape around the end. And I just kept the Scotch tape around there and found that was the easiest way to do it. Leave the Scotch tape on there, glue them end to end, and I'll show you that in a moment. Here's a darker nautical rope, and I just went in and lined it up and did 3 rows. Now, this time I got a little bit smarter, put some glue on first, and then trimmed it down, and then put some more glue on the end. This is before I found the Scotch tape technique. So I just continued around and around and around we go. And it's just gluing and making sure you get it snug up against the last rope so you don't see the tin through there. Now, you could paint this first, and that would give you a more steady background. Now, I was trying to measure how much I wanted to put the other rope in there. So I started back at the bottom and did some of the light nautical rope here, and then just put more of the darker. And I had just enough to do, well, I got 2 rows in, and then I put the rest of the light colored rope in. Now, this is where I did the technique with the Scotch tape. After I glued them and went all the way around, I went back and took the Scotch tape off of the top, but they're nice and butted up against each other, so it gave a nice smooth finish. Then I continued around, and that was about the end of my light colored rope. So I thought, gosh, it doesn't give me enough room to quite do another light row, but the other darker rope is a little bit thinner. So I got that twisted up, and I just went in there and filled back in with the darker rope. And then what I'm going to do is make some handles. Now, you're not going to carry it with this, but it'll give you the look of it. And here I'm trying the Scotch tape technique on my own. It had come that way when I bought the other, but I'm trying to make 2 of these and make sure that the ends don't look horrible so that it looks nice and neat at the end of my can. So I got 2 of the same size. Now, this is the thicker nautical rope. As you can see, it's a little bit wider than the other one, and I thought it looked nicer for the handle. So I went with that one for that. And what I did was just glue it from the bottom going up, And then up towards the top, I took a piece of that darker rope, and it's going to just go a little bit underneath the handle here. I will show you. So I will just take a piece, take it right under the handle here so it hides it a little bit. And this is a side that's not so pretty, so I kind of put the handle to kind of hide that a little bit. And now I'm going to hide that piece, and then I'm going to wrap it over the top. So I take each end and I'll go, but this will give it a little bit of a rest so that the handles don't just flop down. So it goes around here, it gives a little bit of decorative effect, but it will also hold these handles from just looking like they weren't strong enough to stay up. I don't know. I thought it gave it a nice effect. You will see here in just a moment. So you just need to hold that in place and then secure the top of that rope with a little bit more glue all the way up to the top there. And then we will just flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Gotta let that cool for just a moment before I flip it. And here we go. We will just do the other side as well. So it's just lining that up with the bottom edge, making that, I made them about 4 inches apart. But there we are. See how the rope kind of stops it from flopping down too far, and it also gives a decorative effect. DIY number 2. Now, I got the idea by watching Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs. She does the nice big wood rounds. I didn't have one, but I had this left over from Christmas, and I thought this would make a nice little welcome sign. I was going to use my Cricut to make the welcome, but as I went to go grab this sign, I saw my metal words and thought, this is perfect. So I took my painter's tape and made sure to press down flat and just painted the top white. And look at that nice crisp line. Now I'm going to take that tape again and just use the other side of it. And I go right back on top of that. I made sure that it was completely dry after my 2 coats of paint. And now I'm going to use my Waverly ink. The other was Waverly plaster. And once that's completely dry, just peel it off. Gosh, isn't that satisfying when you just peel that off or peel a stencil off? Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to line this up. First, I had thought I would want that up on the white part, but I'm just going to lay it right across the middle. Now, I used some of that double-sided foam tape just to pop it off just a little bit so it's not laying too flat. And I just stagger every couple of letters. And we will just put that right on there. Lining that up. I think the C's about the middle. Perfect. All right. So now up at the top, we've got to have some sort of decoration to cover where that metal piece of that ornament was previously. So I just took one big loop and I'll glue the end and put those together. Now I'll make a little bit of a smaller loop after I find the center here. And this will make our bow for the top. It's such an easy bow. Those 2 on top of each other, find the middles, lay them together, and then I just took a little piece of twine and tied it around the center. Again, super simple, right? These are so quick and easy to make. Now, you have to go look at Sammy's signs, though. I'm going to link one of her videos where she has a collaboration of a bunch of them, a little playlist there. So you're going to have to go look at her signs. That's a neat thing. We link our videos that inspired us. So not only do you get what we made, and the whole playlist, but you also get the videos that inspired us. So, gosh, it's such a bonus playlist. Sammy came up with such a great idea. So there's my bow, and now I want to throw a little bit of greenery and floral behind it, so I just cut some of these pieces off and kind of just laid them back and forth. And then I'm going to take some floral tape and just wrap that right around the center. That will hold it together a little bit better than, throwing some hot glue on there, which was at first my way to go, or my thought of how I was going to go. So I just wrapped that around several times. And now I've got my bow and just kind of figure out how the flowers are going to go around it and, primp it all together, make it nice. And now I want to make a little loop for the top that matches. And then we will glue the bow right on top here and dovetail the ends of the bow where I want them to lay. And you can glue those down if you don't want them to blow in the wind. Now, if you were going to put this on your door, I would suggest to put a coat to seal over the paint. But I am just going to put this in my entryway. So I think this turned out nice. Not as beautiful as some of Sammy's, but I think that they're a nice and a good way to use up some of the things we have left over. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe.